Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because as we celebrate this festive weekend, there is something that has been brought to my attention as far as hiring workers and remote work, and it has to be talked about because it's absolutely amazing. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. Remote workers. Everybody's fantasy. I don't have to go to the office. I can work from my house and I don't have to answer anybody, and it's great. Well, there is a huge problem with this right now, and the fact that remote workers are lazy. Remote workers don't do anything about 75% of the time. And it's all falling apart right now. And all these studies have been done over the course of the last year where they're saying, wait a second, are we getting our money's worth out of these people? And the answer is simply no. Okay, now think about this. The average worker that shows up in an office works approximately 7.5 hours. Now, you spend half the time of your 8-hour day BSing with your colleagues. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Let me check the score of the Angel game. Let me go see if Altuve, that little runt's been traded yet. You know what I mean? You do stuff like that. Anyways, point is that the average worker that's a remote worker works 2.56 hours a day. 2.5 hours a day, guys. You're watching Springer, you're picking up your kids, you're playing video games online, you're doing whatever the heck you want to do, okay? And it's funny because it's what everybody dreams of. Now, I am telling you this right now, and I have a business partner that we're starting our new venture, and we talked about work ethics and what my work ethic is and what his work ethic is, which is insane because I'm telling you, you want to get a hold of this guy will be working at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's one of those people that I don't know when he sleeps, but I know that as I try to compete and try to be at his level, he's just a machine, okay? I have a friend of mine, the guy that got laid off. I talked about him recently. But he had a remote job where he only had to go to the office in New Hampshire 1 week a month. And they would fly him in and he would do all that stuff. But that guy, when he would do this, he was in, at 6 a.m., he was at his computer, he was working, he was on conference calls, he was doing everything. And you could count on that. Because it was an East Coast company, they let him get off basically 3 hours earlier. But man, that guy could count on it. He was there every day, working from his house, doing what he had to do. No slacking, none, whether it be conference calls or anybody. This is a problem. Now, here's the thing. I told you guys about how I've helped people raise money and I've been involved with the startup community. When you go out, and you've heard this expression before, oh, he was employee number 4, he was our 5th hire. That means that they had early on companies that they brought in to as the company got started. There is a scandal right now where there is a guy that his name is Soham Parikh, who was working at as many as 5 companies. And there's a great startup incubator called Y Combinator. And Y, the thing about this is that this place has raised tons of money, and they've recommended different employees, they've recommended different engineers, VCs, all these different things. So with Y Combinator, what you have is you have a guy that was basically working for 5 companies, and they got called out, and they sit there and said, listen, you can't do this, you can't work for 5 companies, quit lying. And then his resume was completely bogus, guys. This guy was completely made up. They said over 90% of what was on his resume, and the guy's worked for so many companies out of India, making top salary. Now, I know an engineer who was just an interesting cat, okay? And this guy used to like to take me to Chinese restaurants and we'd talk, because he used to like to go to my events and I'd give him deals to go to the events. But this guy was an engineer, and what he would do is he would get remote jobs, and then he would go Airbnb himself and work remotely, Interesting guy, but that's what he did. Now, was he not working? No, he would go, but he would sit there and have a company out of, Florida, and go, oh, look at this. I saw this cool Airbnb in New Mexico. I'm going to go stay here. And he'd go stay there for 2 weeks. and work from there. Wild if you can do that. But in the startup community, it's very difficult to get good at people. And this is an absolute scandal because they've raised so much money with these companies, and this guy has completely been a liar. Plus, the other thing that you have is you have all these startup companies where people went out. By the way, I'm at the montage right now, walking through. Clearly a party gonna happen out here, or a wedding or some type of function. But look at all the extra furniture they added out here this weekend, which we've never seen. It looks like a garage sale out here, basically. You know, look at this. So, no idea what's going on. But the point is that I found another article where it talked about, hey, you know, would you like to have 5 jobs? You can do it. You can be an independent worker and have multiple jobs at the same time. Isn't that crazy? Talking about no loyalty, well, if you only work 2.5 hours a day as a remote worker, it doesn't really matter, does it? You're not given your full effort to this. So, I don't know, I got a complete kick out of this. So let me know what you think. And, you know, what do you think about this? I think that remote workers don't work. I think it's a huge problem. And, God, it's kind of weird. They're doing all this stuff. So let me know. I thought it was funny. But the big gripe is everybody that works at Amazon right now is screaming right now that they don't want to go back into the office. You know, I was at a 4th of July party, and this woman was talking about how she has to go in 1 day a week, and she has her team meetings and schedules at literally 24 hours a day. Well, what do you do with your employees to motivate them and make them good? Oh, well, listen, we have all these different checks, all these different software checks, all these different check-ins that they have to do. And if they lie to us, they're done. They're completely done. You don't get a second chance. And if we find out, you know, a computer glitch is one thing, because you had somebody that was like, hey, I want you to know my computer's not logging my hours in. So if you have somebody doing that and bringing it to their attention, they're clearly not trying to hide something, or maybe they are, and they're just trying to get ahead of it. But they got off and they didn't have to, they didn't get fired for that. So I get a kick out of that stuff. Now, next thing is with the big, beautiful bill passing, one thing that Warren Buffett said a few years ago, it was actually 2011, and Elon Musk has started to say this: if we don't balance the budget, the politicians do not get paid. And if we lived in a world like that, it would be great, because then you'd have a balanced budget. These people would, you know, make sure that everything happened. Look at this up here. Isn't this beautiful? Anyways, you too could have a $250,000 wedding up here. Anyways, but nuts, guys, nuts. So Elon Musk is grabbing that. Elon Musk may start a third political party because he's so upset about the big, beautiful bill. One thing that is absolutely true about this, and I'm going to break down the big, beautiful bill later on for you. One thing that's been eliminated is, come September, man, no more tax incentives for the purchase of EV cars. And the thing about that that's so bad is Elon Musk is furious about it, because it represents a huge, huge amount of loss for his company. And what is the incentive to buy an electric car now? Seriously, what is it? I don't know. Come September, there's not going to be any mathematical, you know, value to it. You know, we've had Nissan just have a recall of over 400,000 vehicles. Now, with 400,000 vehicles, it could be engine replacement time for these 400,000 cars. This could bankrupt Nissan right now. We don't know the extent of it yet, but the story is below for you to, you know, have you take a look at that. What a day, guys. What a morning to come out here. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So, crazy. What do you think about that? You think that that's a good thing? You know, one thing that I was blown away with about 1.5 years ago when I asked, would you go to Elon's bank? And it was just huge. I mean, it was just a huge percentage of people that said that they would go to Elon Musk if he had a bank. And now they're asking people, you know, would you join his political party? And I don't know if people will do that or not. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if they're going to do that. So let me know what you think about this. You know, how do you feel about this stuff right now? One of the final things right now is Del Monte, the can company, is filing for bankruptcy. And the problem with this, think about this. Are people not buying canned goods right now? No. They have too much debt in the company. And one thing that you're gonna see more and more of is these private equity companies, company out of Singapore that bought Del Monte, canned peaches, canned food, Contadina, all these other brands that they have. You can read the story below to get all the companies. They're in bankruptcy right now, and they're thinking they're gonna be able to restructure their debt and get out of this. But think about this, canned foods are having trouble, or do they just pay too much for the company? And that's the problem. I am telling you guys this right now. You're seeing so many businesses, from alcohol companies to different manufacturing companies, that are not making it right now. And it's catastrophic, guys. It's just one company after another. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And I want to remind everybody we have a private channel called iAllegedly Live. It is uncensored. It is fantastic, and I love doing it. And you can go to iAllegedly.tv to sign up for that. Think about this. Another, remote work story out of Fortune magazine had a man who went to Reddit and said, "Are you guys not making enough money? All you got to do is get another remote job. I have 5, and I make over $500,000 a year, from my house, lying to these people and working part-time for everybody." Guy makes $3,000 a day, sometimes gets paid for Saturday and Sundays. And again, stealing, not giving your all. And if, hey, listen, do you mind if I work for 4 other companies and you guys? Hell yes, we do. You get the gist. By the way, it's September 30th is the end of the tax credit day for the EV cars. If you're going to go out and get an EV car, go sign up for that. There was 360,000 pounds of turkey bacon recalled from Oscar Mayer, which I thought was just insane, which is a lot, okay? And, I don't know if you guys saw on 4th of July, Joey Chestnut came back to do his, hot dog eating championship, and that guy went out and ate 70 and a half hot dogs. Now, here's the crazy thing. Vegas is all in an uproar right now because the over and unders was 71. So could you bet on that? You could bet on how many hot dogs he ate, and guess what? He stopped it by a half and won handily. So was he in on it? Did he bet on himself to go under 71? Who knows? I love that stuff. That was funny. Speaking of Las Vegas, short-term rentals are suing the city and the state because they're saying what's happening with their short-term rentals is unfair. Now, guys, I'm telling you, I love going to Las Vegas and I love staying in nice hotel rooms because I can sit there and go, give me 19 towels. I want to build a fort out of pillows. Bring me as many pillows as you've got on the 18th floor. You know what I mean? That is the advantage of that. You don't get that on Airbnb. And then they complain about the cleanup and they don't want to take away from the locals and the hotels. So they're making it more and more and more difficult to have these Airbnbs. But again, I have people that swear I will never go to another hotel, Dan. I love staying at these Airbnbs. That's your call on that stuff. Final story and a half. Something interesting was every inauguration, every big event that happens in history always request fundraising. Hey, would you like to be part of this? Would you like to have a ticket? Would you like to be, have your name listed on a plaque? The Trump inauguration had millions of dollars scammed out of people, and it was just announced because of crypto fraudsters. Hey, pay us with crypto and you can have your name here. And people, some gave millions of dollars and fell for this stupidly. And again, no one's out there screaming about this because they look like a freaking imbecile. But watch the fraud, guys, because I'm telling you, they're just ingenious and they think about it every time. Final story is with the big, beautiful bill, and I'll break it down later for you guys. The one thing that's wild about this is that there was $85 million in the big, beautiful bill to move the Space Shuttle Discovery from the Smithsonian Institution to Texas. It's going to cost $85 million to move the space shuttle. I don't know if they're going to truck it there. I don't know if they're going to break it down, take the wings off. Who knows? But $85 million to move it from Washington, D.C. to Texas. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. A lot more to talk about. And I will see you guys very soon. You want to email me, hello@iallegedly.com. And hope you're having a great day.